Hi guys, welcome back to Nairobi Legal Insights. In this video, we're going to be continuing with an overview on corporate insolvency in the Kenyan context, basically laying out the foundation of key concepts that will guide you to appreciate corporate insolvency in the simplest way possible. Every company that you see operates on two key sources of financing. One is equity financing, where shareholders have put in their money, or the company can go and acquire debt. In this instance, we can have company A that gets a loan from a bank. That bank becomes a creditor to company A. Now, in circumstances where company A faces financial distress, there's a risk that these creditors who advanced financing to this company are likely to suffer losses in the event that the assets that the company has are being depleted because of its financial difficulties. And this is where insolvency law comes in. So basically, I want you to appreciate that when we talk about insolvency law, we are basically thinking about how to deal with a situation where a company finds itself in a hopeless situation and we want to help that company. There are different procedures that could be adopted to help a company that could be facing financial difficulties. In instances where you can salvage a company or rescue a company from its financial distress and all financial related problems, you could opt for some of these procedures that could actually bring back the company to where it used to be. So basically, how do we take advantage of insolvency and reorganization so that there is some hope for a failing company? In the course of more videos to come, we're going to be looking at how to avoid a company getting into a hopeless situation. And if it is in a hopeless situation, how can it recover from it? And where it cannot recover, what procedure can be followed? Basically, we are going to be breaking down what we call administration and liquidation in the Kenyan context. To understand insolvency law and reorganization from the onset, as a student, you need to pay close attention to three key concepts. The first one being insolvency procedures, followed by what a security is, and then appreciating insolvency professionals. In the Kenyan context, the law has put in place certain mechanisms and procedures that can be utilized to help a company in different scenarios. Some of these procedures or mechanisms can be used by a company to avoid that company from getting to a hopeless situation. And this could be a situation of financial difficulties. We also have procedures that can be used to clear messes when a company is already in a hopeless situation. So this company is already facing financial difficulties, but we want to clear those messes so that this company gets a fresh start. We may also have instances where the financial difficulties of this company are so bad that we need to liquidate the company. In other words, this company is going to be closed down to the extent that all creditors have to be paid from the limited resources it has left. And that is what we call liquidation. We shall be going into the details of liquidation in the course of more videos. When it comes to security, one thing we need to appreciate is that we cannot be discussing about an insolvency situation if a company didn't go out to borrow money from creditors. So, companies operate either on debt financing or equity financing. When we talk about debt financing, companies borrow money from financial institutions, and those financial institutions become creditors. And this money could be used in the operations of the company. So in instances where a company is facing financial difficulties, these other financial institutions that, of course, the company borrowed money from are likely to lose their money. So how do we protect them to ensure that as this company which is facing financial difficulties exists, or if it is at the verge of collapse, the creditors are protected in such a way that they are able to get back their money from the limited resources that the company could still be having. So that is where the concept of security comes in. You need to appreciate that concept. The next key concept is insolvency professionals. You need to appreciate from the onset the key experts involved as far as insolvency is concerned, and these could be administrators or liquidators. You should be in a position to know their role, appreciate who they are, to understand the scope of their power, and then of course appreciate whether they have a duty to all stakeholders in the context of insolvency. So, which duty does an administrator have towards a bank that a company had borrowed money from, or a supplier who had given a company certain goods? So basically, by understanding who insolvency professionals are, understanding what a security is, appreciating insolvency procedures, then you're going to be in a position to at least get the basics of insolvency law in the Kenyan context. The next key thing to have at the back of our mind as we go along is appreciating the applicable law as far as insolvency law and reorganization is concerned in the Kenyan context. And as you can see here, we have the Insolvency Act 2015. We also have these rules that you can find online. We are also going to be breaking down the definition of insolvency. And every single time we talk about insolvency, it could mean two things. It could mean a cash flow insolvency or a balance sheet insolvency. And all these technical definitions are going to be broken down in more videos to come. The other key concept would be us appreciating corporate financing. How do companies finance their operations? We've already talked about equity and debt financing. We're going to look into what amounts to financial distress. When can we say that this company is in financial distress? And when can we say that the company is in an economic distress situation? We're also going to evaluate corporate failure and look at different mechanisms that we can employ as far as corporate rescue is concerned. So this is just an introduction to these concepts, but each one of them is going to be discussed in details as we go along. At the onset, I explained that there are three key concepts that you must pay close attention to, one of them being insolvency procedures, followed by a security, and also appreciating who insolvency professionals are. Now, when a company borrows money, the financial institution that advances that loan to a company could ask for a security so that in the event that this company fails to pay, then this financial institution can realize that security by selling it to recover its money. So some of the challenges that happen when a company is undergoing an insolvency procedure such as administration is that we have what we call moratorium. This operates like a freezing order. During this period, you cannot sue a failing company as a creditor. So this is one of the challenges that a financial institution could face when it is trying, of course, to sell that security or trying to realize those assets of a company that is failing so that, of course, this financial institution recovers back its money. So we're going to be looking into moratorium, understanding what it means in detail, understanding the provisions of the law that speak to moratorium in the Kenyan context, so that, of course, we understand it in a more detailed way. We are also going to appreciate what reorganization is all about. How do you salvage or rescue a failing company? Basically, what are the benefits of administration? Why would one company actually opt for administration? When does it apply? And at what point does a company move into liquidation? So each of these concepts is going to be broken down, but get this framework so that, of course, you start to get the building blocks as far as insolvency law and reorganization is concerned in the Kenyan context. In our next video, we're going to be explaining key concepts that came out in the course of this video. You will be in a position to appreciate the distinction between financial distress and economic distress, appreciating cash flow insolvency and distinguishing it from balance sheet insolvency, what is a moratorium, and all those technical statements that came out in the course of this video. Then, of course, we shall look into the different insolvency procedures as we go along. So if you happen to be new to Nairobi Legal Insights, consider subscribing so that you receive notifications every single time we post a new video. You can also watch video from other segments of the law, ranging from property law, conveyancing, employment law, by going to the home page, click on playlist, and you see the different categories. Follow us on Twitter for active engagement, and should you have any question, do not hesitate to reach out. Thank you.